It's absolutely beautiful tonight in New York, mid-70s. And they are ready. Here at Yankee Stadium, there is a buzz tonight like there hasn't been in the previous 2 games here at Yankee Stadium. Series is tied at 2 games apiece. And now welcome to Game 5, everybody. I'm Joe Buck along with the Hall of Famer John Smoltz. And let's talk about last night for a quick second. It looked like Houston was about to take a commanding 3-1 lead. And then the Yankees went off. They had 6 unanswered runs. And the guy in the middle of all that is young Aaron Judge, who has the ability, when he gets hot, to carry a lineup. And he's getting hot at the right time.
What a difference a couple days make, and what a difference home makes for Aaron Judge. It was a rough go on the road, and it was a rough go for the Yankees, but this guy makes their offense click. A homer in the 7th inning got it started, but it was the double in the 8th, tying it up. Aaron Judge on the road and home, severe difference. And right now, one more home game would go a long way for the Yankees if they're going to upset the Houston Astros.
Yeah, you see the numbers for Judge, home and road. You see the numbers for the Yankees, home and road, where they're undefeated this postseason. Meanwhile, let's talk about Houston. If you're the Astros, yeah, you don't feel good that you lost the last 2 games. But the series is tied 2 games apiece. It's going to be who can win a couple more games, and Houston has their top 2 starters ready to go in 2 of the next 3 games at home. They still have to feel very good.
They do. It's a mindset change and a tough loss, but the guy on the mound can erase all that, and that's Dallas Keuchel. He has owned the Yankees for his career, and these 2 guys, he wants to turn it over to Verlander for a clinching situation in Houston, but Dallas Keuchel doesn't have to change anything. The Yankees have to adjust to him, and if he does his thing, he will give Houston a huge boost.
Yeah, they have a 1-2 punch in their rotation. Unlike any other team alive in the postseason, they are very, very good, as they proved in games 1 and 2. So on a beautiful night in the Bronx, another story to be written.
There have been many tales of October greatness in the Bronx, but this year's cast might be the most intriguing of all. The local boy who dreams about following in the footsteps of his childhood idol. A fallen hero who rises up from the ashes in a story of redemption. And the matinee idol whose resilience wins him the adoration of the masses. But when the curtain rises, the Astros will be ready. Their ensemble of young stars aren't ready to be written out just yet. It's Act 5 of the ALCS.
Game 1 of this ALCS was fantastic in Houston, Texas. Tonight is a rematch of Masahiro Tanaka against Dallas Keuchel. Both were good. Keuchel was better than Tanaka. However, the final was 2-1. And what's it going to be tonight on a 74-degree night? Weather could not be any better. Light wind. That guy can turn around any wind. Let's send you down to the field level and check in first with Tom Verducci.
Thank you, Joe. Well, when you play the New York Yankees, especially here, top priority, defend the home run. And nobody ever has been better than that than Astros starter Dallas Keuchel. He's faced 214 Yankees in his career and never allowed a home run. There's no mystery of how he does that. Movement he calls short and late, especially bottom of the zone. He wants this game played at ground level. He's thrown 205 pitches this postseason against the Red Sox and Yankees and allowed 3 fly balls. More of a mystery, where do the Astros go after Keuchel? For more on that, here's Ken Rosenthal.
Tom, after the Astros meltdown last night, A.J. Hinch admits that when it comes to bullpen roles, everything is now up for debate. Hinch is looking for answers, and we're likely to see a new one tonight. Brad Peacock, who last pitched 10 days ago. Hinch says that unless Dallas Keuchel goes 9 innings, Peacock is likely to be in this game, perhaps even in a high leverage role. Every other Astros reliever also is available. Somehow, this team must find a better path to 27 outs.
All right, guys, enjoy the weather down there. By the way, a special thanks to Yankee fan Chaz Palminteri. He wrote A Bronx Tale. Classic 1993 film is playing on Broadway. He voiced that rollout for us, and with that unmistakable sound, set us up for this Game 5. Great line from that movie. Now yous can't leave. Doors to the bar were locked and all heck broke loose. Is heck going to break loose tonight for the Houston lineup? Well, this postseason, there are the averages with Springer to lead off. Josh Reddick bats second. Jose Altuve hits third. Correa, Gurriel, Bregman in the middle. Beltran, Marwin Gonzalez, and Brian McCann bats in the number 9 spot. This ALCS, the Yankee pitching has shut down that lineup to a tune of a 153 batting average. Here is the right-hander Masahiro Tanaka, who's been on a nice streak. And this postseason has been very good. He's thrown 13 innings, allowed 2 runs on 7 hits, struck out 10, walked only 2.
Yeah, he's been great, and the timing of when he's been great has worked to the Yankees' advantage. And he's just got to keep the formula successful, meaning keep the early innings with zeros. That's what the Yankees have done here at home. And for the Astros, they've got to get this guy going, Springer. We got to get, as the Astros go, he goes, and the offensive traffic on the bases. These are the things that I'm looking forward to tonight in the execution on both ends.
Top 2 hitters in this Houston lineup, but combined 1 for 27. And that's in front of Altuve and Correa. Check swing on a pitch down and away, ball 1. It's Springer, Reddick, and Altuve against the 13-game winner during the regular season, Masahiro Tanaka. One-0 pitch. That's down and away, 2-0.
Well, Tanaka's going to want to keep the ball down, of course, and use that split a little bit more. He had a great game plan in Houston, really kind of fooling the lineup that was sitting more on off speed, but he was able to throw sliders and fastballs and kind of keep that splitter in his pocket.
That's a strike on 2-1, and it was not the 2-0 grooved fastball. Tanaka faced the Astros here in mid-May on the 14th. Springer was part of an Astros lineup that teed off on Masahiro. Here's a 2-1. Fouled back, 2-2. You look at the pitch selection from Game 1. I know this stood out to you with the splitter, only used 16 times.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's a good game plan that he and Larry Rothschild came up with, and why they were successful.
It was 2-0. Now it's 2-2. Into right. Aaron Judge. That wall is quivering out there. Don't hit me, Judge. says the wall. And there's one out. So Tanaka able to come back, John, from a 2-0 count to retire the leadoff man, and now we'll deal with Josh Reddick, who's hitless in this series.
Yeah, things to look for. That ball carried. That carried a lot farther than Judge thought it was on a relatively lazy fly ball that got to the wall.
Now Judge moves more to his right toward right center field as Reddick waits for the first one. Outside ball one. Tanaka at home here at Yankee Stadium, 10-5 this season with an ERA of 3. Since the All-Star break, he has been devastating here at Yankee Stadium. 6-1 in 7 starts. ERA just over 1. That's a strike, and the count 1-1. And that's all in, including the postseason home and road. Bird to his right has to feed Tanaka 2 out.
So important when you were down 2 games to none and the Yankees came back and have tied this up. It's an emotional swing. You start feeling much better about your chances. So as a starting pitcher, you just want to continue that mojo and not allow the Astros to feel comfortable at all at any point during the game. And Tanaka, CC, all the Yankee starters have been able to do a good job balancing. Even Sonny Gray was outstanding yesterday, keeping this great lineup off balance.
Now Altuve with the bases empty, 2 out. I know we've shown a lot of home and road. The numbers in 14 career postseason games are surprising for Altuve, this great hitter. A .435 average at home. 3 homers, 8 RBIs on the road, .219. No home runs, 2 RBIs. See if he can figure out Tanaka. Strike 2. Frazier, his 3rd error of the postseason. Hit right at him, and Altuve is on. We'll see if the Astros can take advantage of that. 14 errors during the regular season, now 3 in the postseason.
The hot corner. This ball got on him quickly, and he sees trying to judge that little short hop. First skip off the grass, then goes to the dirt, through the wickets.
Now Correa. Yankees kept him off base last night, only the 2nd time in 24 games against New York that they've been able to do that. This kid is a 23-year-old stud. Another chance for Frazier. This time he makes the play, and Tanaka gets around the error and puts up a 0 in the top of the 1st. The Yankees coming to bat against Dallas Keuchel. will be Gardner, Judge, Sanchez, the top three. That's Brett, Aaron, and Gary. Gregorius, Hicks, and Castro in the middle. Greg Bird, Todd Frazier, and Chase Headley, who was one of the heroes last night off the bench. For Joe Girardi, that bottom number, 182, is the career average combined for this Yankee lineup against Dallas Keuchel, and that would figure when you look at these career numbers against New York. 6-2 and an ERA just over 1. He's beaten him twice in the postseason. He ties up Gardner, and we're underway in the bottom of the first.
Sometimes as a pitcher you think you got to do a little bit more or be different against a team that you're pitching back to back in a series, and you really don't. You don't need to overthink and overdo anything. Just execute where you have been. That has given them the most fits.
That's back to Keuchel. Nice play to start his night. 1 out. Astros have their typical look defensively with Marlon Gonzalez out in left, George Springer in center, and Josh Reddick in right. Around the infield, it's Bregman, Correa, Altuve, and Gurriel. Brian McCann does the catching for Keuchel, and that combination tied the Yankee hitters in knots. 4-0 in his career is Dallas Keuchel in the postseason as a starter, with an ERA of .7. He made one relief appearance back in 2015 against the Royals. Didn't go well, but as a starter, he's been incredible. Here's Aaron Judge. Boy, it makes a big difference, not only when you have this huge-bodied guy at 6'7", 260, 270, more locked in, more sure of himself, but in that number 2 spot, when you can cut down on strikeouts, it really helps a lineup. What goes on before and after this really important position for any team. That barely missed, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, Joe, in the first half, a lot of pitchers were afraid to make mistakes, and why not? 34 or 30 plus home runs, and he was hitting a lot of mistakes. A lot of pitches in the strike zone. Then tired, fatigued, physical, expanded the zone. Pitchers league-wide got confidence saying, oh, I can pitch to this guy now. And so really what you have to be able to do is, it's a fear factor when he stands to the plate, but know there are places you can go and stay in those zones and see if he'll get aggressive again.
That's just outside. Keuchel with a quizzical look in at the home plate umpire, Jerry Meals, a count 3-1.
And as the playoffs has progressed, he has been better and better, even in his takes. Maybe not always in the results, but yesterday's a product of all that patience and work.
Good pitch from Keuchel. Counts full. This 29-year-old Dallas Keuchel is not scared. Cy Young Award winner 2 years ago in the American League. Tied him up, struck him out, 2 out.
See, I think hitters, at least from, I think hitters are going to track certain things with their eyes, right? And you look at pitch by pitch. In this situation, he stayed firm away, and he had to go in to make sure he doesn't stay in one area. Stayed steady and stubborn, but the patience of Judge was really good. 3-1 take, okay, maybe it was low, but then he buries a cutter inside. And the point I was going to make is, at least for some hitters, their eyes are their radar gun, trying to track the ball coming in velocity-wise, and then you set your eyes for where you don't want to swing, and for Judge, that's going to be down. But that's the strength of Keuchel, and he wants to entice you to adjust your eyes to change.
We just tied up Aaron Judge, and now he ties up Gary Sanchez, who last night had the go-ahead RBIs.
My problem as a hitter, my radar gun for my eyes was 86. Anything over that I couldn't hit.
Right.
So I had to try and cherry pick some off-speed pitches from the. Once that got around, I never saw another one.
Here's the pitch up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sanchez, despite being one of the hitting heroes last night, with that 2-run double in the 8th. He also had a sac fly in the 7th. Still has only 1 hit in this ALCS.
And the one thing I thought that actually helped him was the runner was going, and it kind of changed his approach to put the ball in play and stay up the middle, and he got that double. Maybe, just maybe, that might carry over for him. You never know what unlocks a hitter, because we talked about how magnified these series are and how many questions they're asked. What's wrong? You're 0 for 6. Is it something mental? Is it physical? No, it's just part of the game and part of the series. 3 for 3 cures everything.
Good pitching by Keuchel, and he picks up where he left off in game 1. Wow. Back-to-back strikeouts of Judge and Sanchez after 1. No score. Thanks, guys. It'll be Yuli Gurriel first up. He thought he basically won game 4 last night with his bat. The bases clearing double that made it 3-0 at the time. The Astros went up 4-0. Lost the game 6-4. Gurriel takes a pitch in the dirt. Ball 1 from Masahiro Tanaka. Tanaka and Dallas Keuchel matching up for the 3rd time in the postseason. That wild card game in 2015. Game 1 of this ALCS as the count goes to 2-0 as it did on Springer back in the 1st.
See Sanchez, he's a bigger catcher, obviously, trying to get as low as he can, spreading that leg out, trying to give him the target he wants down there.
That's ripped into left field. It's going to get down, go to the wall, and Gurriel is going to coast into second base with a leadoff double. He stepped in, hitting .400 this postseason. Now he's 13 for 31, red hot.
I've been so impressed with this guy, especially off of right-handers. He's got reverse splits. He owns the right-handers. Left-handers give him fits, and that spinning slider just stayed right in the zone. And we've already seen this kind of swing and how hot he can get. First series, he was on fire.
That little motion to the dugout is what the Astros want to see. It's the 3, 4, 5 hitters carrying this lineup, but they need somebody else to chip in. like Alex Bregman, who's 2 for 13, runner at second with nobody out. Strike one.
I know Bregman likes the ball in and he likes to pull, but if he can discipline himself, the way that Tanaka pitches would give him an advantage to hit the ball the other way. You see where they're playing him basically saying, I don't think he can hit the ball the other way to get the runner over to third.
Astros trying to strike first, as they have in all but one postseason game. Good at bat. Bregman fights it off, grounds to Bird, over to third is Gurriel, one down.
See, that in the clubhouse and in the dugout is going to be well received. In the year, maybe not, but that is a huge at bat when you're on the road and you've got one of your aces on the mound. Give him the lead, let the next guy get it done, and that next guy is the veteran Beltran.
Through 4 games of the division series and all but one of this now 5-game ALCS, the Astros have scored first. Infield creeps in about halfway. Frazier close to the bag at third, and the batter is the DH Carlos Beltran. Strike one.
See, I have a bonus system as far as how I evaluate a player on the year based on stuff like that. That would go in as a hit. I would reward a player for playing the game the right way in situations that you need. And in this case, putting the ball in play is essential for Beltran.
That misses, a ball and a strike. Beltran drove in 51 runs. He's 40 years old. He came up through the Royals organization, had a brilliant postseason with Houston in '04. He's bounced around since then. He's been to only one World Series. That was 4 years ago with St. Louis, a 6-game loss to Boston. A chance here in Game 5. That's a strike, 1 and 2.
Well, this ball's outside, but it gets called a strike. So what do? You go further outside, or you drop that split away. It's going to force the hitter to think that that previous pitch, that he remembers the location. See what Sanchez and Tanaka decide to do.
Two and two.
Just didn't get it close enough. That's the key to pitching, in my opinion. When a guy gets a call he doesn't like, or he makes a swing that he wish he would, go back to that area and steal an extra inch. You got to make it look close, though. That just reset him. The ball in the dirt resets the vision that he had in the previous pitch.
Two pitch to the second baseman Castro. Runner holds, 2 out. Infield was in, and Beltran grounds out. Gurriel stays at third.
Infield was in, and an easy decision by the runner because it was hit exactly where Tanaka wanted him to hit it. Strikeout or a ground ball right there. And now 2 outs. 2-out runs were a theme for the Yankees. The Astros would like to start contributing if they could with 2 outs.
And it's going to be up to Marwin Gonzalez, who had the career year. 23 home runs, 90 RBIs. Hit .303, but 1 for 12 in this ALCS.
Little bit of pressure on Sanchez with a runner on third here. Ball in the dirt.
Good pitch for strike one. Just to further that, Gary Sanchez tied for the most passed balls this year across baseball with Yasmani Grandal of the Dodgers. So that's in play here with a runner at third, 2 out. Gonzalez looking for a 2-out hit. Strike 2.
Gurriel, this is where you look. 2 strikes. Normally, you're trying to live down as a pitcher. You got to get an aggressive lead and look to any opportunity that the ball might squirt. For Gonzalez, you try to not swing at that pitch. Easier said than done. Tanaka, one of the best at getting the chase.
Back to Tanaka, who gets around a leadoff double. Houston's left 2, bottom of inning number 2. No score in Game 5. Welcome back to the ALCS, presented by Camping World on FS1. Bottom of the 2nd inning. Dallas Keuchel, impressive in the first. Thought he might get a lead after that leadoff double by Gurriel in the top of this inning. Tanaka got around it. Gregorius takes a strike, drills the inside corner. He'll be followed by Hicks and Castro. Anybody gets on Greg Bird for New York. Two and one.
6 of the 8 Yankee hits last night were up the middle or to the opposite field. 16 of the 25 in the series have been the same way. Against a Dallas Keuchel, that's what you have to do, because he's not going to let you pull the ball quite as easily for success. If you pull the ball, it's going to be on the ground more than likely. And if he makes a mistake and you have the approach up the middle the other way, you'll hit it hard and get rewarded. So difficult to do, though. It's where Glavine and Maddox made a living of the aggressiveness of the hitters, not allowing to take what the pitcher's giving you.
2-2 pitch. Got him down and in, and that's 3 consecutive strikeouts for Keuchel. Our Volkswagen Atlas road to the postseason for Dallas Keuchel. We focus on the numbers in his career against the Yankees. 6-2 in 8 starts. The ERA just over 1, has not allowed a home run. That includes the postseason. He won the 2015 wild card game here at Yankee Stadium. And he won ALCS Game 1 by going 7, allowing no earned runs, 10 strikeouts. And he was backed up by Justin Verlander in Game 2. And there are the numbers for lowest career postseason ERA, minimum 4 starts. That's what Keuchel's made. This is number 5. Here's one to Correa. Good play, and got him at first as Aaron Hicks is retired by Carlos Correa. Made a tough play look relatively easy.
There's that ground ball and a much better approach, almost up the middle. And Correa, such a gifted infielder, both with size, power, arm. Gets rid of it as quickly as he can in the stretch. Bigger than normal shortstop right here, but can do it.
And determined to stay there. Alex Rodriguez is back in the studio, probably thinking, good luck, kid. Batter is Castro. Bailed out of what was a rough game last night with that comeback by the Yankees. Castro committed 2 errors, was hitless. 2 runs in the 7th, 4 in the 8th. Chapman nailed it down. And a 6-4 win. That is a rocket into left. Back at the wall. It's up against. And Castro has a 2-out double.
Well, Yankee hitters might not get a lot of opportunities, but you can't miss the opportunities you're given. And tries to get the ball in, but the ball is away and right in that sweet spot. Just a little too much topspin, keeping this ball in the ballpark.
Okay, so do you want to explain the thumbs down? Or I know the guys did it on the pregame show.
Yeah. Citi Field, makeup game with the Rays. Mets season ticket holder. I believe he's a season ticket holder.
We're giving him the benefit of that doubt.
Sitting there when Frazier was at the plate.
We'll show it to you. Here's Bird. 2-out RBI chance. That's just inside. But it's become kind of the, I want to say the rallying cry, but the rallying gesture for the Yankees down the stretch here in 2017.
Signature move they go to.
And you're right. He Mets season ticket holder. You got it. He nailed it. Here it is. Todd Frazier, Citi Field. Nope, he didn't like it. And it made it onto the internet, and then, well, everybody picked up on it, as usually happens in this great game, and so they all do it now. That's Gary, by the way, who gave the initial thumbs down. Bird puts the Yankees on top. We'll see more thumbs down as they grab a 2nd inning lead.
This just looked like better hitting right here. When I first saw it, it looked like he got inside, and he did. He stays inside, keeps it fair, had a hittable count, took advantage of it.
Gary, a little more airtime for you there, pal. A double by Castro, and RBI Single by Greg Bird, and for Keuchel, his playoff scoreless streak against the Yankees ends at 14 innings. And it's 2-out damage. Ball 1 down and away to Todd Frazier.
The Yankees have been unreal with that category, and this crowd is static. They actually have a lead against Dallas Keuchel.
That's a strike. A lead-off double by Gurriel in the top of the inning led to just frustration, not a run for Houston. A 2-out double by Castro leads to a run, thanks to Greg Bird, who quietly has been a very consistent hitter for the Yankees since middle September. 1-1 to Frazier.
Bird, you could argue, has been their MVP the last 3-4 weeks. Big hits, catching up on what he missed most of the year. Timing of the swing.
Almost 4 months on the disabled list with a problem with his lower right leg. Eventually had right ankle surgery. Good pitch by Keuchel, strike 2. Inside corner, struck him out. 4 strikeouts for Keuchel, but a run for the Yankees. Castro a double. Bird the RBI single. And from Gary at Citi Field to Bird at Yankee Stadium. 1-0 New York. Ladies and gentlemen, you missed the first pitch of the third inning. It was in for a strike to Brian McCann. George Springer and Josh Reddick will follow. Double by the guy on the left, single by the guy on the right. 1-0 New York. Strike two on Brian McCann, who is struggling at an .083 batting average for the postseason, 0 for 8 in this series alone. I think we've seen a little frustration from Dallas Keuchel with the home plate umpire already. Talked to him both times coming off the mound, after the first and after the second. There's a 1-2 right off the end of the bat.
Well, he's trying to establish the certain part of the plate, and that's to his arm side, which is inside to a left-hander, away to a right-hander. He's just trying to verify. Makes their strikes, letting them know. That's what I miss about the National League. You do it while you're batting. Nobody knows.
McCann strikes out, and that's the first of the night for Tanaka. Tom Verducci, what do you have?
Well, the Astros led the majors this year in batting average first time through the lineup. You wouldn't know it in this series. They have a batting average that looks like a bingo number in this series. 0.77, 3 for 39 first time through the lineup. I was a little bit surprised they didn't gamble a little bit in the second inning and have a contact play with the runner on third, waiting for a hit rather than pushing the envelope.
Tom Verducci, thanks. 1 out, nobody on. And it goes back to, as you see, Dave Hudgens, their hitting coach, who was a hitting coach with the Mets prior to his time with Houston. Goes back to this good starting pitching from the Yankees. They knew coming in their bullpen was lights out. The Astros did. A.J. Hinch said, we didn't quite expect this from the rotation.
Yeah, and their starters are, I guess it's fair to say, they're kind of the Rodney Dangerfield, right? I mean, everyone knows about the strength of this club, power hitting, power bullpen, but their starters, oh, by the way, have been really good and don't get a lot of credit, and they're standing up and being noticed right now.
That's inside. 2 balls and a strike on Springer, who's 1 for 15. It's Larry Rothschild, pitching coach for Joe Girardi.
Video connoisseur.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Girardi is blown away by how much video he watches day and night, trying to get these pitchers ready for their starts and relief efforts. That's strike 2.
And great game plans are great. You got to have them, but executing them is so much better. And that's right now what the Yankees have been able to do. I mean, this team doesn't strike out the Astros, and they already have 5 strikeouts in the third inning.
Here's a 2-2. Got under it. Little fly ball, shallow center. Long run. Drops in. Castro was waiting on Hicks, and Hicks was kind of laying back for Castro. Just a well-placed hit for Springer, and that's got to feel good for George. Just his second of the series.
Yeah, you got to respect his power, and they're playing deep. A ball that's usually up in the air 4 to 5 seconds will get caught, but if it's in the perfect triangle, it drops harmlessly.
It'll bring in Reddick, and the Astros need something out of their number 2 hitter. Such a key spot in this order when you consider who's after him. Altuve, Correa, and Gurriel, but he's hitless. A lot of managers, John, talk about wanting damage in that number 2 spot in a lineup. I think that's evolved over time. The number 2 spot for Houston has not been coming through for A.J. Hinch.
Yeah, he had a great year, and he's just looking to try to get close enough to that 314, 315 batting average. And certainly years ago, the number 2 guy was hitting and running, bunting, moving guys around, doing all the little things. Now it's a power position.
That's down 2-0.
Tanaka will let you know by how long he waits after he delivers the ball whether he thinks it's a strike. Obviously, English is not his first and you don't ever see him saying anything or barking. So that mannerism of how long he waits after he throws and delivers, that's his way of letting you know it thought it was a strike.
Behind on the count to Reddick here. How about these 2-0 pitches? If you're expecting a 2-0 grooved fastball for a strike, you're not getting it from Masahiro Tanaka.
Yeah, it's been great. Expect the unexpected so far. He's reversing the trends and staying away from the middle of the plate for the most part.
Well, what you get with Springer as your leadoff hitter is the ability to start the game with a pop. 9 leadoff home runs during the course of the season, 34 home runs overall, doesn't run a ton. In fact, had more caught stealings than stolen bases. It was 5 out of 12. Strike 2.
I mean, we already mentioned it, what he's been at home since the All-Star break. But how about this? Versus Houston, he's 0-4 in his career with a 7.62, 53-26 against the rest of the league with a 3.34. So Houston has had his number, but Tanaka is a different pitcher. He was in Houston. He has been here at home so far.
Two-two. Full count.
Will this be an action pitch? What I mean is, will Springer go on the delivery and trust Reddick?
Springer is drawing a throw. So Tanaka and the Yankees were thinking along those lines with you.
Sure looked like he was getting ready to go.
Sanchez takes a lot of heat for his catching abilities. He's got a great arm.
Cannon.
Runner goes. Ground ball to the right side. Bird flips to Tanaka, 2 out. A little indecision right off the bat by Bird. He thought, do I go or do I not? Castro was right there if he didn't make the play, but he went to get the ball and fed Tanaka on a play they worked on the 3rd week of February.
Yeah, and the key here is get the ball out of your hands for Bird and show it to him as quickly as possible and let him chase the ball down. Great job by Bird. The longer you wait, the harder it is for the pitcher because he's trying to find the bag. If you can get him the ball quicker, he makes the ball in the glove and then easily to the bat.
So the runner at second, that's the tying run, and the batter is the batting champ, Jose Altuve. You just marvel at him. I know we talk about this, and he's got to be so sick of hearing about how tall he is or isn't. 5'6". That's how he's listed, 165. But when you see him in the clubhouse compared to the other guys walking around, it's just stunning. And the guy just, he's got power, hit 24 home runs. Can't get fastballs by him. He is sensational. And you heard the guys in the studio say an overswing in the first at bat. He went after ball 1 and turned it into strike 1 there.
And ironically, the only time his size may have hurt him as we see this swing again was yesterday trying to field that throw from the first baseman where Headley was in between. He couldn't pick up the ball if he was closer to the bag because we talked about he was behind the bag making the tag. Well, at that height, he had to back up to track the ball, which therefore led to Headley being able to slide in.
This time Altuve lays off. First time Jose showed up at a Houston tryout camp in Venezuela, they sent him home because they didn't believe he was old enough to be there. Came back the next day with his birth certificate. A couple hours later had a contract, a $15,000 bonus, and I think the likely AL MVP and would be the second from Venezuela. Miguel Cabrera the other. Fun to watch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner at second, 2 out. Frazier gets the hot hop, gets the out, and Tanaka through 3, leading by 1. Home runs mean more this postseason as T-Mobile is guaranteeing at least $1 million for hurricane recovery efforts with every home run hit. Headley takes a strike worth $10,000. Help break $1 million by including hashtag HR4HR in your tweet, and T-Mobile will donate an additional $1 each time. John was referencing the base running last night of Chase Headley when he came up with a pinch hit single and then took second after falling down between the first and second base bag, getting up, scrambling to second, and just beating the tag by Altuve. He represented the tying run. That's foul. Yankees would get 4 runs in that 8th inning, and as A.J. Hinch, the manager of the Astros, told us before the game, we just couldn't get the inning to end. It just kept going. And then they handed the ball to Chapman, and he went 1, 2, 3 in the 9th. Keuchel has Headley set up. He struck out 4 and allowed 1 run on 2 hits.
There's that changeup. Puts it in his back pocket. He's going to break it out at different times during the game because the slider has been so effective. But once he establishes the outside part of the plate with that sinker and gets the hitters again leaning out there looking for it, that's when he can throw that changeup and really mess with them.
full count. Back to the top of the lineup, and Brett Gardner next, then Judge. Into center. Headley is starting to get hot.
This is what you saw game 1. Down, down, and a lot of this below the line. For him to be successful, that's exactly what he needs to do and continue to do, as the Yankee hitters really were off balance and really had their sights down. Well, this time, a couple hittable counts, 3-2. Stay right up the middle. Don't try and pull it. You'll have a chance for better success off a pitcher who is so good at getting you to hit the ball on the ground.
Here's Gardner. Shows bunt, takes a strike. The patience of Gardner. He had offered at the first pitch only one time in his previous at bats, and that came last night in his first at bat. He bounced back to Keuchel his first time, was showing bunt, took a strike.
Forces Bregman in, allows Gardner to slap it by.
Or chop one to the right side. Gurriel gets the out at second. A good play. Headley is erased. Gardner is on, 1 out.
Good play, but better speed on the bases now for the Yankees, with Gardner switching first base position. Headley was there, but you see this chopper in the ground. That's what you see. A lot of soft contact off of Keuchel. Got to make this decision right away. Got to pre-plan this. If the ball's hit to me in this scenario, what am I going to do? Know who's running. And always, if you can, prevent runners from getting in that scoring position.
Here's Aaron Judge. Does he love hitting in this ballpark? 36 home runs at Yankee Stadium this year. And last night in the 4th, threw a walk, homered in the 7th, an RBI double and a run scored in the 8th. The 1-0. Good pitch from Keuchel.
And that homer felt like that won the game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the crowd went crazy. They were still down 3 after he hit the homer, but the way it created the momentum for the hitters and the lineup, it got right back around to him to the next inning, and he didn't disappoint and came up with that bigger hit, a double off the wall to tie the game.
Knocked it off the batter's eye and straightaway center field. How about that list he's on for home runs? That is fair. Into the corner. Gardner speeding to third, on his way to the plate. Relay throw. Too late. 2-0 New York.
Confidence is an incredible thing, and once you start feeling it, things start feeling like they're going your way. Just outside of Bregman's reach, down the line. And the speed I talked about, switching guys at first base, definitely came into play there. Headley would not have scored. Gardner did.
Now Sanchez. You know, I'm going to bring this up, and I know it's still an open wound with you. but I bring it up for a reason, not to talk about the '96 Atlanta Braves, but to talk about the '96 New York Yankees, who came back after dropping the first 2 games at home to your team to win in 6. That was the beginning of Jeter and Posada. Girardi was the catcher on that club, and Rivera and Andy Pettit and all, and who knew what was to come. But Yankee Stadium was a place nobody wanted to go play in. And I know you took the first 2 games there, but Joe Girardi said after last night's game, this ballpark that opened in 2009 is starting to feel like that old Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, exactly. The crowd has been in it. The crowd started really the desperation of game 3, down 2-0 to the Indians, and those next 2 nights the players talked about it and what it did and how it helped them get back to Cleveland.
That's down, a ball and a strike. They've won 18 of their last 21 here, including obviously games 3 and 4. And one thing that Joe Girardi pointed to, he said, you know, you're starting to see cups of beer fly around in the stadium. Not that that's great, but this place needs to get dirty a little bit. The stadium's so pretty and pristine. Old Yankee Stadium had such grit. As that's a swing and a miss, strike 2, and it just has that feel. These fans are so into it with this young team that's easy to like.
And again, that game yesterday has so much carryover into a pitcher you know you're facing today that you've had no success. You start feeling like you're going to have success today, and it shows. The last Yankee loss at home was to this Dallas Keuchel in the wild card game.
Well, Judge has him buzzing again. He's at second as Sanchez strikes out. Keuchel fooled him for his 5th strikeout, twice with Gary Sanchez the victim. Back to the double. And they've been bouncing around in here the entire 3 games, and that's another thing Girardi talked about. And he was an aging player, but he said the way fans used to bang on the padding along the outfield wall, it got his attention back then. It's got his attention now.
You can't make this up. All that was talked about after game 2 and all that was over. This series is over against the Indians. This team rallied, responded, and has taken all the pressure off of Joe Girardi, and he talked about it with passion on how that game, especially game 5, turned the page on what was a really rough game 2 for the Yankees.
They were down 2-0 to the Indians, 1-3 straight. Down 2-0 to the Astros, trying to win their 3rd straight. But this time it's a best of 7. 1 ball, 1 strike on Gregorius. And at the very worst, the Astros get to go home with Justin Verlander on the mound in game 6 on Friday. At the worst.
Like I said, both these teams are going to be dealing with this in the future. They're going to be very good franchise moving forward, very talented, and this is going to be an epic series as it has already turned into one.
If the Yankees, obviously when I say the worst, they would have to win tonight to go up 3-2. But as has been said by Tom Verducci, by you, Yankees were looking to have to win 1 game against Keuchel or Verlander. They're trying to beat Keuchel tonight. And then Verlander, if the Yankees were to win, the best he could do is force a game 7. Just fascinating the way the momentum is completely switched starting in the 7th inning last night.
I mean, on a dime. It was.
No.
Nobody left, as you would expect they wouldn't, but man, it turned so quickly, and as AJ said, we just couldn't slow it down, and nobody who came in the game could slow it down.
3 balls and a strike on Gregorius with Judge at second, 2 out. Yankees have scored 8 runs in the last 5 innings. against this very good Houston staff. Full count. Last point about that is A.J. Hinch said, I'm going to do my best between when we met with him in the start of the game to go around and tell the guys, look, there are a lot of ways to get to 2 games apiece.
Exactly.
We don't like the way it's happened to this young Houston team, but who cares? And we're headed home, and there are a lot of good things to remember. Right now, the Yankees lead 2-0, a chance for more. A strikeout ends the inning. But another run put up by New York on the RBI double by Aaron Judge. One of the hitting heroes last night. Drives one into the corner, drives home Gardner, and after 3 in Game 5, 2-0 New York. Two 2-0 New York. Middle innings begin. To start the 4th inning, a strike is into Correa. Gurriel and Bregman, the next 2 hitters. See how this young team responds. When you think about it, this Astro club, they put together their second 100-win season in franchise history. Since the 2nd game of the season, they've been out in front. Here's a 1-1 pitch to the shortstop, Gregorius. 1 out. They were alone in first place in the 2nd game of the season. They started the year 42-16. They ran away with the division. 21 game lead at the end of the year over the Angels. And they've never really been headed. They were up 2-0 on Boston. They were up 2-0 on the Yankees. Now this series is 2-2. And they're trailing in this game 2-0 here in the 4th with 1 out.
Well, the good news is 2 years ago that was a young team with not a lot of experience, and they had the Kansas City Royals on the ropes. In Game 4, wasn't able to close it out and ultimately lost the series. This year, Beltran, McCann, even if offensively these guys aren't producing, they have enough experience to pass on that wisdom to say we're all right and flip the script and talk about the glass half full instead of the glass half empty. And I think that's the mindset you got to have. People who've been there, done that, gone through it, and go, we're fine. Just like you said about AJ saying it's 2-2. There's a couple ways to get there. Let's go. We got 2 games to win.
They're so well put together, this Houston team. They're so well managed. We're going to be talking about the Astros for a long time, and they could very well win the whole thing here in 2017, and they are right on schedule. The way this front office has drafted, cultivated their talent, added pieces like that man Justin Verlander, who'll get the ball on Friday night. Gurriel waits for a 2-1 pitch, doubled his first time, and then was stranded.
But you see, these teams became great teams at different times of the year. They knew they were a great team, but a team knows its weaknesses, and they'll never say it. But they became a great team when Justin Verlander was acquired. That's when they went, oh, this is it. We've got the guy. The Yankees on the other side became a great team when they saw the maturation production out of young players, but the trades that they made said, oh my gosh, we're going for it.
Full count.
And so it's interesting how the psyche of a team, because you play so many games together and you're so much locked in for about 200 days of the year. Guys are going to slump. Guys are going to be hot. You're going to lose confidence in guys. You're going to gain confidence in guys. They're going to come and go. But when you add pieces like both these teams did, mentally puts you over the top.
2 out. Strikeout number 2 for Tanaka. As Gurriel lets the world see the hair. Later tonight, Game 4 of the NLCS between the Dodgers and the Cubs at 9 Eastern on TBS. The Cubs win tonight. They'll be back at it tomorrow for a Game 5 at 8 Eastern. Then on Friday, Game 6 of this series. The scene shifts back to Houston and that good pitching matchup of Verlander and Severino. There's the matchup tonight with Alex Wood, who will make his first career postseason start. He's had the long layoff. What a year. 16-3 against the battle-tested Jake Arrieta.
I know they won't say anything in Chicago, but when Jake Arrieta got that injury, I thought it set Chicago back because the unknown of him being able to be counted on. He's been pushed back. He's done a nice job since the injury. But it would have been nicer for the Cubs to have one of their horses at the front of the rotation or more counted on to go 7-8 innings.
Ball and a strike to Bregman.
The other thing you got to tell yourself in a series like this is you never know what's going to happen with 2 outs. You can't always with 2 outs try to get one back with one swing, as we saw what the Yankees were able to do against Charlie Morton. Never hitting the ball hard, but maybe one time. And scoring all those runs with 2 outs. That's what's the beauty of this time of year.
Bregman gave himself up, grounded out to the right side to advance Gurriel his first time. But Beltran couldn't bring him home. Now a 2-2 count. So we play here in the Bronx. They play historic Wrigley Field in that game tonight on CBS. Ron Darling, Brian Anderson, and Sam Ryan bringing you the action. Wood and Arrieta. Here comes a 2-2. Frazier's been busy. Tanaka has been outstanding. No runs, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts through 4. The 28-year-old has these hitters off balance, leading 2-0 in New York. Game number 5 moves into the bottom of the 4th inning. Yankees scored 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, and have Hicks, Castro, and Bird against Dallas Keuchel. Aaron Hicks grounded out his first time. Shows bunt, takes a strike. He's 2 out of 16 in this series. Moved up in the order tonight by Joe Girardi with Castro behind him, and Castro is the one that got the first hit for the Yankees, the 2-out double in the 2nd, and scored on the hit by Bird. Outside corner, strike 2.
Well, for the Astros coming into this game, obviously you feel good about your starting pitcher in Keuchel, but the one thing you got to know is you are playing a shorter game, meaning it is possibly going to be a 2-inning Chapman night, a bullpen night past the 5th inning. So you're playing to a.
There's a pop up on the right side. Altuve. 1 out.
You're playing to a different game form of not time but innings, and you want to know that you can get the game tied up or leading by the 6th inning. So you're here with going to bat in the 5th, and you start thinking about, we got to get it going because we know what's looming.
Last night Girardi did not have to overuse Robertson. He's got Canely ready to go, his hard throwing right-hander. Maybe the only pitcher he'd stay away from is Green down there, and he's got arrested Chapman for the most part with a day off tomorrow. We're going to jump down to Ken Rosenthal in a moment after Starlin Castro does something here. He rocketed a double into left center his first time. Keuchel has struck out 6. 2 runs on 4 hits. Joe Girardi told us before the game with regard to Keuchel, he said we expect to get a lot of the same that we got in game 1. We just can't miss the mistakes. He said there were pitches to hit, not many, but his hitters missed him. That's strike 2. Ken Rosenthal, you have more on that, I know.
Joe, I talked to hitting coach Alan Cockrell before the game, asked him what the Yankees game plan would be. He said 2 things: be ready to hit and don't let Keuchel dictate the at-bat. Now, it's easier said than done. Cockrell's thought was hitters should look for a ball in the middle of the plate and trust that. And so far, it actually is working. Castro hit a 1-0 pitch for his base hit. Bird a 2-0. Judge a 1-1. Now, John, it's the same kind of aggressive approach we used to see teams take against another master craftsman, an old teammate of yours, Greg Maddux.
Yeah, for sure. It's why the playoffs is so much different than a regular season. You can dissect a pitcher and take away his strengths if you're disciplined to do. It's harder to do that, though, with the tension and all that's at stake at this time of the year.
7 strikeouts now for Keuchel. 2 out, nobody on. They give Bird all of the third base line and a lot of left field as they play him to pull.
That's the same pitch he wanted earlier against Bird when the next pitch later he singled to right field, trying to bury the ball in on the corner, and then he can go to work against those left-handers if he gets that call. Pitch earlier is right there that, of course, Keuchel's going to see differently. He's on a straight-on view, and when you hit your spot, you always think you'll get rewarded. Why not?
It's off the end of the bat. Meanwhile, Greg Bird has had much better plate discipline. He had 3 walks in game 4. He's got 10 walks over his last 11 games after just 6 in the previous 22. So all that's got to come back with getting back into rhythm after almost 4 months on the DL.
Absolutely. He's their most feared complete hitter right now. I'm telling you, they're circling him as harder to get out than anybody else.
On the outside corner, Bird didn't agree, and that's 8 strikeouts for Dallas Keuchel. 5th inning. Houston will have the bottom three. Beltran, Gonzalez, and McCann as they trail by 2. The ALCS on FS1 on this beautiful night, presented by Camping World, America's #1 RV retailer since 1966. And is sponsored by Hankook Tire. Chase down your passion, never halfway. And by WB Mason, products for the workplace delivered free. Who but WB Mason? Masahiro Tanaka starts the 5th inning with a strike over the outside corner to Beltran. 2-0 New York. You see that pitcher comparison. Tonight it's Tanaka who's outpitched Keuchel as opposed to the reverse that we had in game 1. And for Dallas Keuchel, you see the 8 strikeouts. He's the first pitcher ever with 7 or more strikeouts in each of his first 5 career postseason starts. That's how good he is. Strike 2 on Beltran.
And 7 or more Ks in all 3 career postseason starts versus the Yankees, and he's in pretty good company. Only 2 others did that, Gibson and Schilling.
That is going to get out of play. Beltran had that RBI chance in the 2nd, could not connect. Play ball is MLB's initiative to inspire all forms of baseball and softball participation, making play opportunities available and fun for everyone. To learn more, go to playball.org. One-two pitch.
Beltran, such a good low ball hitter. He's looking for something in towards him a little bit that he could hook and lift. You got the shift. Anything on the ground, he's pretty much out to the right side.
Strikeout victim number 3 for Masahiro Tanaka, and 1 out in the 5th. Well, we saw last night in that head-to-head matchup The difference between these two bullpens in this game, like any other game, is a race to the pen. And Tanaka already has one out in his pocket here in the 5th.
But once again, what the Yankees' formula for success in coming back when they've lost a couple games is getting the good starting pitching that they've been getting and shortening the pen.
Hard hit, base hit for Marwin Gonzalez. His 2nd of this ALCS, and that'll bring the tying run to the plate in Brian McCann.
If you think about it, the wild card game was a total, no one saw that coming. 8 2/3, bullpen wins the game. Then they have more innings pitched from the starters against the Indians, which no one would have seen that coming. Now, Houston had a leg up in the first 2 games by pitching 7 and 9, but since then it's been knocked out Morton. McCullers did a nice job, and they've jumped the lead on Keuchel so far.
McCann struck out his first time. Runner at first, 1 out. Blocked by Sanchez, but Gonzalez with good base running down to 2nd on the wild pitch. Nothing Sanchez could do. Gonzalez was ready.
Yeah, he spikes his slider and it jumps off the chest protector to the right. Anticipation is what it's all about when you're on the field, whether playing defense or trying to go base to base 90 feet. Anticipate, read, react.
RBI chance for McCann, the veteran catcher.
And you know what that does with getting to 2nd? It makes it more difficult for Didi to be in a position where you would traditionally face McCann in that ultra shift. He has to give a little bit of attention to Gonzalez because he can't let him get a huge lead with Frazier way off the bag. Easier opportunity to steal 3rd.
Drops in for a strike. Another 2-0 pitch. It was not the fastball.
Nope, he's had good success. Backdoor sliders, and then he'll front door that slider to the back foot of McCann if he wants on left-handers. He's also got that split that goes away from the left-handers.
Ball 3-1 on McCann, who hit 18 home runs during the regular season and spent 3 years in Yankee pinstripes. Springer on deck. That's twice now Tanaka's stepped off to make Sanchez go through the signs. So Sanchez just going to go out there and talk to him. Sunday on Fox, a full slate of games headlined by Drew Brees and the Saints taking on the Green Bay Packers and the Cowboys at the 49ers. Check your local listings for the games in your area. .74 degrees when we started, just after 5 o'clock local time. Pleasant night at the ballpark, and it's tense. They're at 2nd, 1 out, 3-1 to McCann. He checked his swing, and it's 2 on with 1 away. And back to the top of the order with Springer. First walk by Tanaka.
Right pitch just a little bit too low, as you saw McCann was ready to go after it. If it was a little higher, he had checked his swing in time.
The Astros have been waiting for George Springer to connect with one. He got a hit his last time up. He's 2 out of 16 in this series. Has 1 postseason home run that came against Boston. 35 total home runs for the year. Strike one.
Just amazing. Been in so many of these and seen storylines change so quickly. This offense is as deep as it gets. Then you hear 4 games later, this offense is vulnerable. Doesn't matter who it is. This pitching staff, tough to beat. You gotta withstand the waves of information and attention that comes to lack of success temporarily.
This was the #1 run producing offense in baseball, scored 896 runs. It was the #1 team with regard to average. They have the batting champion and that guy Altuve. They're good 1 through 9. Springer waits for a 1-1 pitch.
But in 3-game series in the regular season, probably never pitched to the degree of attention that is given to them now. Shorter starters, more bullpen.
That will get out of play as well. Strike 2. Big swing by Springer. And we've seen that a lot this series, and so far the Yankees have taken advantage of some of those big swipes. But when he connects, they go a long way.
Just underneath. Trying to lift it. Launch angle.
Tanaka sneaks a 95-mile-an-hour fastball right over the outside edge.
What a great pitch. Just again, expect the unexpected. Maybe Springer looking for something off speed. Tanaka paints.
Now Reddick. What a time for his first hit of this ALCS. He's 0 for 15. 2 on, 2 out. Strike 1.
That looked like a cross up. Sanchez is going to go and figure out where the miscommunication was. Lucky to get a glove on that if you're expecting a slider or a split. Watch how he attempts to catch it. It's like, whoa, that ain't changing direction.
Josh Reddick came up with Boston in 2009, went to Oakland, really kind of established himself with the A's. Last year ended the season with the Dodgers. Predominantly an American League player. He is 12 for 83 as a hitter in this ballpark. Under 150, which is right about where the Astros are hovering as a team in this ALCS, hitting against the Yankees. Opportunity here with 2 out. 1-1 pitch.
The Astros are going to have to do something to change the vibe, because the crowd right now, every chance the crowd gets into it, they're given a roar by something the Yankees have done. 2 strikes, they get loud.
Tanaka through 5. 2-0 New York. Eight, 9, and 1 hitters for New York as they lead by 2. Ball 1 to Frazier. Masahiro Tanaka was as visibly excited as I've ever seen him. He just struck out the side in the 5th inning, including 2 with 2 on. Got 5 strikeouts on the night and has allowed no runs on 3 hits. 1 walk. In the air to left center field. Off the bat of Frazier and into the glove of Springer, about 2 steps in front of the wall in a deep part of Yankee Stadium.
Well, Tanaka knows everything from this point on is a 9th inning, meaning Joe Girardi had the bullpen up, and you see that pitch away, nowhere close, and he knows getting through 5 is huge. Any out he gets moving forward is a bonus, but he will not be allowed to get in much trouble with what's waiting in the pen for Joe Girardi.
Switch hitter Chase Headley, the number 9 hitter, who's 1 for 1. And is 3 for 8 in this ALCS. Takes a strike.
When you're pitching the day before the off day, you know what's coming. So don't give your manager a reason to pull you faster than you want to, because a rested bullpen with a day off means you can do more things than you typically would without the day off.
What'd you say to Verlander the other day? On days after you pitched well like Verlander did in Game 2, you wanted to walk through the mall with your uniform on.
Well, I didn't want to. I did. It was fun. No, yeah, that's how good it feels when you pitch a good game. You just show yourself around the city.
Yeah. 1 and 2 on Headley.
And then when it doesn't go so good, you do a lot of housework.
Keep the blinds drawn.
Yeah.
That's us. Kenny and Tom down on the field. Joe and John in the booth, and a 1-2 count. Keuchel, Headley. Tough play. Bregman's been good. He throws low, and down to second goes Headley. Could be a hit and an error. And he's there with one out here in the 5th.
Soft contact usually produces an out, but in this case, the distance that he had to go and the way he had to throw it off balance, the two just didn't work with the short hop, actually a big hop.
It is a single and an error on Bregman, his first of the postseason. Headley's 2 for 2 tonight, and 4 out of 9 in this ALCS. At one point, the DH spot was what, 0 for 24 coming into a ball game during the postseason for New York. Headley is changing that narrative. Runner at second, one out for Gardner. And out to the mound is McCann. Again, home runs mean more this postseason as T-Mobile guarantees at least $1 million for hurricane recovery efforts. With every home run hit worth $10,000, you can help break $1 million by including hashtag HR4HR in your tweet. T-Mobile will donate an additional $1 each time. Gardner takes a strike, a ball and a strike.
Well, Keuchel puts so much pressure on the corners. Not only does he put the pressure on the hitters, but he puts pressure on the umpires. So he's so good at knowing where his ball is going to end up that he doesn't want it over the middle, and rightfully so. He pitches away from the barrel of the bat, and he wants soft contact. And when he doesn't see that pitch get called, he's going to stare in there a little longer.
There's another good pitch inside part, strike 2. Gardner's been off balance all night. He has grounded out twice, reached on a force out at second, back in the 3rd, and he scooted home on the RBI double by him, Aaron Judge.
One thing every pitcher knows, at least the ones that have been through this before, you just can't waste a lot of emotion or energy that you've stored up for this type of game. So whether it's on the umpire or a particular play, you just got to be able to remain as calm and have the game be as slow as possible when you're processing the pitches you're making and the decisions you make.
Back to Keuchel. Headley stays put. 2 out.
Now an interesting decision. I'm not so sure they're going to pitch to Judge here. He has made himself known. I know that AJ has talked about, and he's going out to talk to Keuchel. He will not tell his pitcher to pitch around a guy. He will ask him what he wants. You want to pitch to him or walk him? No in between. No pitching around. Let's make a decision, and I think that's what this conversation is all about.
If you put Judge on, it's 2 on 2 out for Gary Sanchez, who is 1 for 16 with 7 strikeouts in this series.
And I would say that if Joe Girardi had Didi here, that might be a different decision for AJ because the left on left matchup. But this is what the Yankees are built around. Judge, Sanchez, monster power. I think the first couple pitches are going to dictate whether they continue to pitch to him or just give the intentional pass if it goes to 2-0. if this were not Keuchel or Verlander, the decision would have already been made.
Good pitch from Keuchel as he pulls the string. 1 ball, 1 strike. Phew. I mean, Judge, let's say this. Judge has piled up the strikeouts.
He has, but he's piling up a lot more better swings and better takes and a lot more contact of late.
That's where I was going with it. He struck out 23 times, including once tonight. But he has not gone after a lot of bad pitches as that misses down in the count 2-1. Dallas Keuchel did not have an intentional walk all season. He's 2-1 on Judge. Now 3-1.
If nothing else, what Judge has now done is put more stress in the lineup on a pitcher, and the more stress a pitcher has to deal with, the harder it is. And that stress was relieved early in the series by making your pitches, and those strikeouts you were talking about were coming more frequently. Now there's a little bit of doubt in the pitcher's mind as to him covering certain areas that he wasn't.
Keuchel trying to keep it 2-0. Judge trying to change that and takes a walk. That is the intentional, unintentional walk. If Judge was willing to get himself out on pitches around the strike zone, they would take it, but they would rather face Gary Sanchez.
Well, this is how he faced Sanchez earlier to the tone of 2 Ks. First one, he was able to bury it in under the barrel. The second one, he got it down below.
A hit, an error, and a walk in the inning. And a chance for Sanchez now. 1 big hit. That's it in this series last night in the 4-run 8th. And it went to right center. Strike 1.
Here's why you can take pitch counts and throw them in whatever garbage can you want. Because the stress pitches in this inning are a lot more difficult than naturally throwing 130 pitches with less stress. Not a lot of people take that into consideration when they just look at the quantity of pitches and go, oh, he can only go 95 pitches, or 100 is all he's got.
That is down to the corner and fair. Headley will score. Judge to third. 3-0 New York as Gary Sanchez delivers in the 5th.
What I'm talking about is the previous at bat bled over into this at bat. He tried to get the ball in more. It was down. Sanchez made the adjustment, got a hit in the corner, and an add-on.
So they pitch around Judge, and it's the 24-year-old catcher Gary Sanchez who delivers with a rocket into the corner with 2 out. Judge went first to third. Sanchez was held to a loud, hard-hit single on a good play and left by Gonzalez. Now it's Gregorius. Ball 1 in the dirt. McCann able to keep it at home plate and eventually find it.
Yeah, the Astros did a great job defending not only Judge scoring, but Sanchez getting to second. First baseman trails and gets all the way, and that allowed Sanchez to go as far as he needed to without any repercussion, knowing someone was going to throw behind him.
Two 2-0 on Gregorius, who has struck out twice as well. Astros now have action in their bullpen with the right-hander Will Harris getting loose. Hard hit and foul down the right field line.
And see, with 22 pitches in this inning and them all being really high-level pitches, it's starting to show up in the location. 82 on this game is not many by numbers, but it feels like a lot more because of the runs on the board and the stress that the Yankees have put on Keuchel.
Fastball by the bat of Gregorius compared to what he threw in the first game, 109 pitches, but it's a completely different feel because he had the Yankee hitters eating out of his hand.
He did, and even though the score was 2-0, that naturally is stress in and of itself. But I'm talking about runners on constantly and having to pitch your way out of jams, or a runner in scoring position knowing that a hit scores a run.
Here's a 2-2.
What every pitcher's looking for at this time of the year is which hitter's going to deviate his game plan, meaning be more aggressive. And if he's more aggressive, he's not as useful as if he creates fear, doesn't swing, and doesn't miss his mistakes. That's when it gets tough at this time to pitch to this lineup in this small ballpark.
The 27-year-old shortstop, Didi Gregorius, on 2-2. Good block by McCann. That will allow Sanchez a head start over at first with a count 4. Game summary brought to you by Budweiser. A matchup that we had in game 1, and so far tonight it's Tanaka who has outpitched Keuchel, as opposed to the reverse from what happened in Houston. Aaron Judge with an RBI double, his 10th RBI this postseason. The pitching lines down below. Keuchel just trying to fight to get through the 5th. Runner goes, ground ball. Altuve can't get it. Judge scores, and it's 4-0 on a hit by Gregorius. And that'll be it for Dallas Keuchel. Just off the glove of Jose Altuve. And the Yankees have a 4-0 lead here in the 5th. A chance for more, and they've knocked out their nemesis, Dallas Keuchel. Gary Danair, ironically enough, a Mets season ticket holder, has given the Yankees that little gesture they've been using. Joe Buck and the Hall of Famer John Smoltz. Impressive all the way around tonight for the New York Yankees.
It's a game of adjustments. The Yankees have adjusted after the first 2 games on the road. They have done everything you need to at home to put themselves in the best position to make it as difficult as possible on the Astros moving forward. I'm telling you, I've watched this from the beginning, and the Yankees, it's a theme that Joe Girardi kept preaching. They grind, and they grind away at bats.
Here's Will Harris. Second time he has appeared in this 3-game set. The games at Yankee Stadium.
And if you want to know what that means, yes, they swing and miss a lot, and they swing for power. But they take a lot of pitches, and they work. They work each pitcher. They beat up Kluber twice, which is impossible to get to this point. They've taken their punches from Verlander and Keuchel. And the second time around, they adjusted. They made adjustments.
Ball and a strike on Aaron Hicks. Harris, who's on the mound now, pitched 2 games ago in Game 3. And came on in the 4th inning before Colin McHugh took over. And he allowed the home run to Judge. Second time he's pitched in this now 5-game set with 1, maybe 2 to go. That's in the air to left. Long run for Gonzalez down the line, and he's there to end the inning. The rally started on a 1-out hit by Chase Headley. Judge in the middle of it again. Sanchez and Gregorius. It's 4-0 into the 6th. Welcome back to the ALCS presented by Camping World on FS1. 4-0 New York behind Masahiro Tanaka. who struck out the side in the 5th inning, got around a hit and a walk. Strike 1 on Altuve. Masahiro Tanaka, John, in this postseason, 18 innings pitched, 2 runs.
He's been awesome. He really has. I can't think of too many pitches that have been belt high. Everything's down. He's fooled the hitters in hitters counts. He's pitched backwards at times, and he's been stifling their offense.
It's a lot of that. He has just owned the bottom part of the strike zone and below. It's 0-2.
Yeah, if you cut off the pitcher and just saw the results, you'd swear that's Keuchel because of the ground balls, the soft contact, and the pitches down in the zone. But it's actually Tanaka who has won out in tonight's game.
Fly ball into center. It's got Altuve yelling at himself. 1 out.
Well, with runners in scoring position, this is when Tanaka's been at his best. Every chance that Houston has had, he's stifled them with soft contact or great pitches out of the zone. It's been easy, no stress from when the ball was hit. And then there were times he didn't even allow him to hit it. And you see the emotion there, and now a 4-run cushion and a much easier Joe Girardi in the mind that you got to believe is going, okay, when do I go to my pen?
Well, at this rate, the answer might be in Houston. That's down and away, ball 1. Correa 0 for 2. Hitless last night, hitless tonight. See what the Astros offense has done. As a group, they've hit 152. Over 162 games, they led baseball at 282. Strike 2.
It just looks good and feels good to a team when your stars are doing what they need to do, and it just seems like the length of the lineup gets longer when more guys get hits. When they don't, each guy feels the pressure. I got to get it going. I need to get something going on the base pass. Very contagious both ways.
Two out. 6 strikeouts for Tanaka.
This is just a slider that starts on the outside part and then moves away. That's one of the cold zones. Correa so good over the middle of the plate. Just keep it out there.
Here's Gurriel. That misses. Gurriel, the only extra base hit tonight for Houston, and one of their 3 total. 2 singles and his double, leading off the 2nd, and Tanaka got around that.
It just seems like the Astros have been down in the count most of the game, and coming into this series, they hit 288 with 2 strikes against the Red Sox. But the Yankees have held them to 138 and have improved on that with 2 strikes in this series.
2 balls and a strike. Saw Brad Peacock getting loose. It appears he'll take over in the bottom of the 6th. A.J. Hinch has been anxious to get him in a game, and we'll finally see him. Masahiro Tanaka came to the Yankees in 2014. That was his rookie year. He started the season 11-1. But then he had the right elbow injury. There was a tear in there. He decided against surgery. The conservative route. Went on the 60-day DL. Even got back before the end of the season. Here he is putting together a brilliant 2017 postseason for the Yankees. In the air to center. That brilliance continues. 6 shutout innings and 19 innings pitched, 2 runs allowed this postseason. They're relying on the veteran right-hander, and he's delivered. Will Harris gets to go back out for at least one. Starlin Castro first up. Ball 1 in the dirt. Castro doubled and scored back in the second, struck out in the fourth. Keuchel went 4 2/3, allowed 4 runs on 7 hits. Struck out 8, walked 1. And at least for the moment, the debut of Brad Peacock will have to wait.
Well, it's been a great series, and it's going to continue to be that. Each crowd has been treated to superior pitching and great moments that they could cheer for throughout the game. This crowd has added to the adrenaline of the Yankee hitters and team, and the same thing's going to be in Houston. Loud, engaged, confident in their pitcher on the mound in Verlander. Irregardless of what happens.
Well, Minute Maid Park was, I mean, it was deafening in there. And as you said, it was Keuchel, then Verlander, and why wouldn't it be? They saw great baseball. They saw back-to-back 2-1 well-played games. Wins for Houston. Now the hometown Yankee fans have seen 2+ good games. Who knows how this one's going to end, and Will Harris is trying to keep it a 4-run game. Home teams this postseason throughout the playoffs are 19-7. The Yankees are 5-0 at home, scoring 6 runs a game, 1-4 on the road. The Astros are 4-0 at home, 5 runs a game, 1-3 on the road, with 3.3 runs per game. So a decided home field advantage for these two teams.
And that's the beauty of Houston being rewarded by getting home field advantage. For as good of a campaign they had this year, they will have the luxury to know, hey, we win all our home games. They can't win.
In for a strike, a full count. Three-two to Castro, swung on and missed. Strikeout starts the bottom of the 6th inning in a 4-0 game. Later tonight, Game 4 of the NLCS, Dodgers and Cubs at 9 Eastern on TBS. And if the Cubs win tonight, they'll be back at it tomorrow for Game 5 at 8 Eastern. Then on Friday, we will be in Houston. Game 6 of this thrilling series. It will be Luis Severino, who went 4 innings and a no decision in Game 2 against the brilliance of Justin Verlander, who went all 9 through 124 pitches and was dominant in Game 2 to go up 2-0. Now, well, if this series goes back 3-2 New York, he'll be trying to force a Game 7. But the Astros have time. 9 outs.
Much like yesterday's game, I don't think there was a lot of people, if they had to be truthful, that were here thought the Yankees could turn it around as quick as they did. And of course did that with 2 in the 7th, 4 in the 8th. We're out to a 6-4 victory. The difference is it's a different bullpen.
No doubt. That's just such a strength for this Yankee team. And in this ALCS, the Houston bullpen for A.J. Hinch has an ERA of over 7.5. They are loaded down there for Girardi. And relatively rested. Two-one. 2-2 on Greg Bird. Frazier next. The soft spots in this Yankee lineup have seemed to disappear.
Yeah. A lot of it has to do with what we're seeing right now with Greg Bird. Joe's had the luxury of messing with his lineup a little bit as far as breaking up Judge and Sanchez with Didi, but now bringing up Bird.
They have 2 hits and a run scored out of that number 9 DH spot. Headley. Frazier's been a big part of this series as Bird leans back from ball 3. Frazier with a 3-run home run the opposite way in Game 3. Three-two from Harris. Talked about the Yankees at home and coming into today. They had the best record at their home ballpark in the American League at 51-30. The home runs, most in the American League in this postseason. 8 home runs with a 5-0 record, and they lead here tonight 4-0. That missed the outside corner, a 1-out walk. Another walk for Greg Bird. He had 3 last night, as I said earlier, 11 now over his last 12 games. Frazier at the plate.
Frazier last at bat Looked like he got it. Looked like he hit it the way he wanted to, but didn't get rewarded. Hit it to the bigger part of the park, whereas earlier in this series he just flipped one to right field for a 3-run homer.
That's off the end of the bat into left center field and caught by Gonzalez. Nice catch. Throw behind Bird. They can't double him off, but a nice play by the super utility player Marwin Gonzalez. 2 out. Batter will be Headley. Gets to turn around and bat left-handed. Headley been a part of the action tonight. Been on base with a couple of hits. He scored a run. And now has 4 hits in 9 at-bats in this ALCS. There's a check on the runner at first, and Bird says thanks for the respect.
Bad scouting report. But see, that's how quickly it can change. You get a little 3 for 4 in there, all of a sudden you're locked in at the plate.
Late there on the pitch from Harris. Ken, 1 more year to go on the deal for Chase Headley, and he's become a valuable piece here.
You talk about resilience with the Yankees. This guy embodies that. Difficult slumps each of the last 2 years. He came out of it, and Joe Girardi cites him as a model for younger players with his unselfishness. When the Yankees acquired Todd Frazier, Headley walked into Girardi's office and said, "I'll play third, I'll play first, DH, whatever you need me to do." He hadn't played first in a while, only 10 career games at the position, but he filled in adequately while the Yankees awaited the return of Greg Bird.
And now he has claimed that DH spot. Jacoby Ellsbury has been in that spot. He's 0 for 9 this postseason. Matt Holliday 0 for 3. That's down and away, 2-1.
And for Bird, there was so much uncertainty on when and if he would even come back. A hard time diagnosing all the things that were going on. So that's why they went and got Todd Frazier and moved Headley over to first. Things have worked out rather nicely to this point for the Yankees.
It's upstairs from Harris. 3-1 with 2 out. Gardner on deck. And action for Houston again in their bullpen now. It's Brad Peacock again. The 3-1 pitch. That is into right field. Going first to third is Bird. They'll hold him there. Headley's got his 3rd hit, this time a double. And that brings A.J. Hinch out of the dugout.
Well, hittable count, 3-1. Can do a lot more than when they're constantly jamming you and you're missing your pitch.
That's it for Harris. Brad Peacock coming in. 2nd and 3rd, 2 out. Yankees leading 4-0. Brett Gardner coming up. 2-0 Yankees tonight. So far, we're in the bottom of the 6th inning. 2nd and 3rd, 2 out. Brad Peacock takes over. As Joe Girardi sends up Brett Gardner, looking for more 2-out magic. Here are the numbers from the division series. He lasted 2 2/3 against the Red Sox. First appearance of this ALCS. Gardner 0 for 3 with a run scored. Good swing and a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, strike one.
He's got a little bit of a lower angle to where he releases the ball and spins that slider, and he will move on the rubber depending on who's at the plate. There's the 4-seam fastball. It looks like the middle of the plate. And what Gardner does so well, if he doesn't square it up into the outfield, he fouls it off, makes the pitcher work.
That's strike two.
I think that's foul ball number 100 in the postseason, it seems like. He was at 55 there for a while. He's master at it.
Bird and Headley, the runners, 2 out, 0-2 pitch. Outside for ball.
Peacock had an incredible year. 13-2 on the season. 10-2 as a starter. And on the road as a starter, he was undefeated, 8-0.
Now coming out of the bullpen. A lot of moving parts for A.J. Hinch with this pitching staff. After their top 2 starters, who are as good or better than anybody else's, in Keuchel and Verlander. That's foul. Talked about the 2-out damage for the Yankees this postseason. That's not just this series. Their average with 2 out and runners in scoring position. They've scored 28 runs with 2 outs.
That's daggers. That's hard to do, and they've been doing it. You're talking about something that'll deflate the other team. You just keep getting 2-out runs, and that'll do it.
Another 1-2. That's strike 3. And the Yankees strand 2 have left 6. And we've played 6. Game 5 here in the Bronx. Yankees lead by 4. Official caps, hoodies, jackets, and more. Celebrate your favorite team with the latest postseason gear at MLBshop.com. 7th inning. Tanaka back to the hill. And just in case there are any hiccups, action for the Yankees in their bullpen with Robertson getting loose.
And it would have to go awry quick, because right now you got to like the way his tempo and the confusion he's given these hitters, not knowing what's coming.
Bregman lays off. That's Canely. They've got Robertson ready to go if needed. They've got Canely at the moment up. And obviously, as we said earlier, Chapman for more than one if they need it. That's down and away, 2-1. Bregman, then Beltran, then Gonzalez. Anybody gets on, Brian McCann. So bottom part of the lineup for Houston, down 4-0. Bregman 2 for 15 in the ALCS. That's a little high in the count, 3-1. Fly ball into right. Judge back on the dirt. 1 out in the 7th. The batter will be Carlos Beltran. Dave Chesney, happy birthday. One of our camera operators. Ches, you guys, come on. He's like a little shrinking violet. So embarrassed that we're saying happy birthday. Attaway, Ches. 1 out, nobody on for Beltran, who's grounded out and struck out. Tanaka's walked only 1. That was McCann back in the 5th, and it seems like, and obviously that's an exception to what I'm about to say, but he doesn't mind falling behind in the count. He can throw a strike whenever he wants.
That's the beauty of having more than one pitch and being able to throw it more than you would like in hittable counts. That's how you survive without 97, 96. Command, location.
Good tight breaking ball, 1 strike.
And a committed approach. You're not in between. You're like, oh, should I throw this one, or what will happen? He's committed with the game plan. He's executing. It's been fun to watch.
Beltran sticks the bat out and pokes it foul left side. Strike 2.
Had been fun to hit against, I can tell you that, because what he's doing to this lineup in the 2-game span where they have had his number. I mean, on the career, not good numbers at all, but these 2 games when it's counted, been awesome.
Beltran went around, struck him out, 2 out. 7 strikeouts for Tanaka. And the Astros now have gone 101 straight at bats without a home run. They found the long ball against the Red Sox, had 6 home runs in the first couple of games, and well, they've been shut down. 3 over the last 6 coming in, and their last home run was the Correa home run off Severino in game 2. And here comes pitch number 100. About to be delivered to Marwin Gonzalez.
I'm telling you, people underestimated the Yankee starters. They said they'll win this with their bullpen. Well, you can't use your bullpen if your starters don't do stuff like that. Severino, the luxury it looks like if this game holds up to not pitch in an elimination game.
Gonzalez broke his bat. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wished Dave Chesney a happy birthday. How about the 89th birthday of the great Keith Jackson today? The best to ever do college football and so many other sports.
89. Congrats.
On the Mount Rushmore. Play-by-play announcers. Happy birthday, Keith. Used to do baseball back in the day at ABC. Strike 2. Down are these pitches from Tanaka.
And up are this crowd every time with 2 strikes.
We've seen 7 strikeouts. Tanaka gets away. Sanchez has to make the throw, and he got it. A good defensive play helps Tanaka out of the top of the 7th. 8 strikeouts and total dominance. He and the Yankees walk off leading 4-0 in Game 5. It's Game 5, the 2017 American League Championship Series. They put up 4 runs in support of Masahiro Tanaka. And it's a 4-0 game as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. We welcome you back to the ALCS, presented by Camping World on FS1. We always talk hitting when it comes to Aaron Judge. Some play out in right field, which we saw 2 nights ago in Game 3. But for more on big number 99, here's Tom Verducci.
Yeah, Joe, I want to show you the most impressive thing I've seen in this series, and it was not with the bat in the hand. This is a 282-pound right fielder getting himself involved in a rundown play. That was the double by Gurriel. Watch Judge get involved in this play, and from right field, he actually makes the tag on the left side of the infield. Now, when I asked him about this play, he said, I was brainwashed by the Yankees player development system. Now think about that, guys. When you promote players to the big leagues, you want them to stay and have success early. Judge, Sanchez, Bird, even when they're not hitting, they're walking, they're having good at-bats. And tonight, all of them have run-scoring hits.
Tom thanks as Judge leads it off in the 7th and takes a strike from Peacock. That was last night in the 6th inning when Yuli Gurriel hit a bases-clearing double and then was put out between 2nd and 3rd on a play that went 7, 6, 5, 9. 9 being the right fielder Judge. Wears 99 on his broad back. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, with Judge being up, Peacock moves to the first base side of the rubber. He's trying to create angles advantageous for him. So when a left-hander's up, he goes to the third base side of the rubber. He throws a sinker and then he throws that slider. And when his slider turns, it's difficult for right-handers at the way that he throws it to pick it up, the angle at which he throws it.
One, 2. Got him. Good pitch from Peacock. 1 away. He has faced 2, struck out 2.
Well, this one backed up. Tried to get it to a different spot. Watch it back up and hold its position on the inside part. Kind of fools Judge. He's hoping that it breaks and then he can go get it.
Now Robertson is getting loose. Masahiro Tanaka has thrown 103 pitches through 7. He struck out 8, walked 1, no runs, 3 hits. No hits since the 5th. Strike 1 on Sanchez, who had an RBI single with 2 out in the 5th. Last night a 2-run double in the 8th. He's got 4 RBIs over the last 2 games as he chops that foul for strike 2. Oh-2. Hammered into left. Watch it fly. 5-0 Yankees. Home run Sanchez.
This was a spinner. Sanchez didn't miss it. First base side of the lineup, first base side of the mound. He's trying to throw that slider in to the right-handed hitter to break it away. Well, it didn't break away. Now he'll get back to the third base side of the rubber against left-handers.
3rd home run of the postseason for Sanchez. His first of this ALCS. Ball 1 outside to Gregorius. That is a group of happy, loose, talented young players. Two 2-0 from Peacock on Gregorius. Last two at bats for Sanchez. The ringing single into left that popped off the wall. It was hit so hard it went for a single, and then that one over that wall and left to make it 5-0. 2-0. Another hit belongs to Gregorius, and it's cut off by Gonzalez. What a play, but a double either way.
Well, we go back and look at the slider. See how he gets on the side of the ball? No turn at all. The slider could be a great pitch, or it could be a recipe for homers. With the spin on the slider and the back spin of the hitting the barrel of the bat on the ball right there. See how it compresses? It's just a recipe for a long fly ball. I wouldn't be, man, I would.
It's a good way to break a forearm.
That man's going to hurt an elbow one of these days.
Now the left-hander Francisco Liriano, who's not appeared in this ALCS, is getting loose. Meanwhile, Aaron Hicks digs in 0 for 3. 2 for 18 in this series after the double by Gregorius.
Peacock hasn't pitched in a while. He's overthrowing and crossfiring that sinker or that fastball. This is the time of the year you get a little out of routine and you have to try to find it quick. You're not given the leash to work your way in and out of jams if you don't show your manager traditional stuff, like uncharacteristic stuff will make your manager go to someone else. Good changeup.
1 ball, 1 strike. Robertson, by the way, is taking a seat for a moment. Now he's back on top of the mound in the bullpen, but not showing any urgency to get ready with the way Tanaka's pitching. Shutout through 7. That's a strike. Strike 2.
Well, so far in this 2/3 of the way playoffs, the weather has cooperated. The series have been good. Going to Houston, whether we need 1 or 2 games guaranteed you're going to play there because of the dome. All things moving the way players would like when you start getting deeper into October.
Now Canely is up for the Yankees in their pen as Hicks strikes out on a pitch down and in, 2 out. Canely up for the 2nd time. Robertson was up for a moment. He took a seat. Just about the time that ball disappeared over the wall and left. Off the bat of Sanchez. Here's Castro. Tailing pitch for strike 1.
Castro showed the first crack in Keuchel. First bad pitch he threw, he got it for a double and got the Yankees on board, which therefore put this crowd into frenzy mode from that point on.
He was delivered to the plate by Greg Bird, who waits on deck. That's down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now Luke Gregerson joins Francisco Liriano. Strike 2 on Castro. How about this note? Gary Sanchez is the 3rd Yankee catcher with back-to-back multi-RBI postseason games on a list with Bill Dickey and Yogi Berra. 1932 and 1960. The Yankees, the first time in franchise history, 4 players have 3 or more home runs in a postseason. Again, in this day and age, more opportunities as the Yankees played a wild card game, the division series, now the LCS. This is to 3rd. Bregman makes the play, but another run on the board for New York. Bang went Gary Sanchez, 8th inning now. A lot of smiles in that dugout. And in the stands here at Yankee Stadium, as New York leads 5-0. The ALCS on FS1 is presented by Camping World, America's #1 RV retailer since 1966. And is sponsored by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. Along with our director, Matt Gangle, our producer, Pete Macheska, Joe Buck, John Smoltz, Tom Verducci, and Ken Rosenthal. 8th inning, and Tommy Kahnle, the hard-throwing right-hander, takes over with Brian McCann first up. Strike 1 at 98. Tanaka, 7 innings, no runs, 3 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts.
He was awesome, simply put.
Good numbers this postseason for Kahnle, as you see, as that rides up and away. You like the move to the bullpen?
Yeah. 7 innings, plenty for Tanaka. Shorten the game, 1 inning each. Maybe you don't even have to go to Chapman. Maybe it's Canely and Robertson. But nonetheless, with a day off tomorrow, that really still gives the boost that Yankees needed.
Look at the numbers for the bullpen.
It's unbelievable. I mean, we knew they were good, and they have been. But the less they have to be exposed, the better they're going to be. That just aids Joe Girardi's weapons. And by exposed, I just mean overworked. You know, like an 8 2/3 to start out the postseason. Imagine if the starters continuously didn't give you the length that you needed. There's no way that they could be as good at this point in the postseason.
That was on the Severino start against Minnesota. Bullpen shut down the Twins. Severino is the man who gets the ball in Game 6 against Verlander. 2-2. Into center for Hicks. Our Hankook Tire dynamic play of the game. We're just going to give you the work of Masahiro Tanaka matched up against Dallas Keuchel. As the Yankees try to beat Keuchel for the first time in the postseason.
I mean, you think of what they did. CC shut them down. They got 1 run. The Astros did in the 9th inning. And then they were shut down for 6 innings. And the Astros grabbed that 4-run lead, only to see them be shut down again in Game 5.
Here is Springer with a fly ball into right. 2 out. The Astros have got to get the top 2 spots in this lineup hot somehow when this series goes back to Houston. Springer is now 2 out of 18, and Reddick, who's coming up here, is 0 for 16, and that's just a killer in front of bats like Altuve, Correa, and Gurriel.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the formula for postseason pitching is simple. Get the first guy out of every inning. Be able to not get carried away with traffic on the bases, and keep the big boys at bay. I mean, you circle the lineup card when you get it, and you go, this guy and this guy will not beat me. And the best way to do that is make sure the guys in front of him are out. And that's what the Yankees have done.
And that's a guy that you circle. That's a guy you circle. You can add Gurriel. That's a strike. And Canely trying to turn in an uneventful 8th. How about the Yankee pitching tonight? Bottom of the 8th inning at Yankee Stadium. 5-0 New York. First appearance for Francisco Liriano of this ALCS. He worked twice in the division series. Only went 2/3 of an inning total. You see his regular season. That top line as Greg Bird takes outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. We asked A.J. Hinch which pitchers would be affected most by the irregular work. This was the first name out of his mouth with regard to his control and worrying about what his control would be like for a guy who hasn't pitched basically, well, hardly at all the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he can be real nasty, but he can also have a hard time finding the plate with his funky mechanics.
He's behind in the count 3-1. He started the season in Toronto. Houston made the deal before the deadline to bring him to the Astros. But at the trading deadline at the end of July, that was the only real move of significance, which when they quoted Dallas Keuchel, I mean, he said the word disappointment was an understatement. Well, little did he know, I guess to some degree, little did the Astros know that before the end of August, as Liriano issues a leadoff walk, that guy would show up, Ken Rosenthal. That, whether it came at the end of July or August, they've got one of the best right-handers come along in the last, I don't know, 15 years, ready to go in Game 6.
They do, Joe, and they were trying for him in July, but it just didn't come together, and that's why they turned the focus to the bullpen. And they went into July 31st, the day of the non-waiver deadline, thinking they were going to get 3 relievers. Liriano was one, Zach Britton was another, and there was a third as well, a high-end type that I've yet to identify. But they only got Liriano. That's what made.
Here's a wild pitch that sends Bird down to second.
That's what made Keuchel so upset. But ultimately, they did get the starter. They just never fixed the bullpen the way they wanted it to.
Yeah, they have a young closer in Ken Giles. And by the way, A.J. Hinch is not concerned about Giles, even though last night in the 8th inning, the Yankees got to him. But it's Davinsky who had a rough go last night, a little bit out of whack with his mechanics, and they're young and inexperienced down there.
Well, and that's the thing that people don't understand. Regular season is exactly that. You don't know how guys are going to react when the atmosphere increases. The pressure is intense. Sometimes you get out of body experience.
Frazier grounds to third. Bregman makes the play.
And getting amped up for certain guys and the way they throw is not a good recipe for success. So you find that out by having gone through it. And then a manager's job is to trust that that was a one-time experience, or does that bleed into more lack of confidence? So it's not easy at this time of year. Managers will tell you that. You lose favor with guys quicker than you would in the regular season because it's a result-oriented, what have you done for me lately type playoff picture.
Here's Headley. What a night he's had in the number 9 spot. 3 for 3 with a double, 2 singles. He scored a run. He's back to batting right-handed.
And for AJ now, if this score holds up, he'll have to not only rely on Verlander, but then a Game 7's not given directly to who he might go to. Whereas the Yankees pretty much know they're going to CC.
Well, that's the case with Hinch. He knows he's got Verlander on Friday against Severino. And then Game 7, Joe Girardi has CC Sabathia ready to go. And TBD is what A.J. Hinch said to us about a potential Game 7.
And Charlie Morton, again, who pitched Game 3, deserved much better. Pitched great, actually, but bad results.
Swinging bunt. McCann out in front of the plate, 2 out. Give you a StatCast. It's powered by Amazon Web Services. Back in the 7th. The home run and the exit velocity of 110 off the bat of Gary Sanchez.
He's so strong, and he averages about 416 feet per home run. That just tells you how strong he is.
With that home run hit by Gary, T-Mobile will be donating an additional $10,000 for hurricane recovery efforts, with 66 home runs hit so far this postseason. Total amount $660,000. Help break $1 million by including hashtag HR4HR in your tweet, and T-Mobile will donate an additional $1 each time.
I can tell you this, when you're playing like the Yankees, unfortunately, you don't want that day off tomorrow. You want to play, but they'll be given the day off. They'll spend the night here, take their time getting to Houston. The Astros will board a plane, get home, get acclimated, get ready, and be prepared for a sold-out, raucous crowd in Houston.
Canely, it looks like, will go back out there for the ninth. Here's a 1-1, strike two. Meanwhile, talking to Joe Girardi before the game, the Yankees will pack. As John said, leave tomorrow, get in at a good time, have dinner, and then get ready for the game on Friday. And they will pack for an extended trip as they hope to win in Houston and then go on to game one of the World Series. They are a wild card team, and they can't host game one.
Right, it's the same formula they had going to game 5 in Cleveland. Pack your bags, boys. We're going to Houston after this game. That's the mindset you got to have.
Two-two pitch. Nice job by Liriano to keep this a 5-run game. Pitches a scoreless 8th and gets around a leadoff walk. Altuve, Correa, Gurriel coming up for Houston. Last chance in game 5. The ALCS on FS1 is presented by Camping World, America's #1 RV retailer since 1966. And is sponsored by T-Mobile. This postseason, there's a new leader in network. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. By Taco Bell, sometimes you gotta live Moss. What a view. What a night weather-wise. Mid-70s at the start. Lower Manhattan to the Borough of the Bronx. First pitch swinging, and Tommy Kahnle says thank you, Jose Altuve. 1 out. Kevin Burkhardt give us a game break here in the 9th. Yeah, Tanaka 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk. Kahnle is trying to go 2 shutout. There's Correa, kept off base last night. So far held off base tonight. How about Brian Cashman? Should he be beaming with pride with the deal he made in July with the White Sox to bring his starting third baseman Tommy Kahnle and David Robertson back into the fold? They're going to miss Yankee Stadium with what they've done here in this series. At home, 19 runs scored, 297 average with runners in scoring position. Strike 2 on Correa.
Yeah, it's been an incredible job by the Yankees in their front office, because again, going in ahead of the curve, nobody expected they would be at this point, and once they got to the point of a playoff atmosphere and team, they seized the moment and they sealed the deal.
1 out, nobody on. No. Ball 1. Nope. 99 that just missed the inside corner. 2-2.
Kahnle pitches with aggression and emotion, and he's always on attack. He's got an attack type pitches and a power changeup to go with it.
He started in the Yankee system, couldn't control his good stuff. 2 stops and then back to the Yankees, and he's a big part of their late inning bullpen relief mix after the trade from Chicago. Cashman demanded he got Kahnle back. That's into right center field, and will get down. Go to the wall. Correa digging for 2, and he's got a 1-out double. That'll bring in Gurriel with 1 on 1 out in a 5-run game. Right now, nobody throwing for the Yankees in their bullpen.
No, but there's some stirring, and it'll happen. You see, Chapman will go through his process now.
Throws that weighted ball to start. But all eyes right now are on Gurriel and Kahnle. Strike 1. How'd you like to catch Aroldis Chapman's weighted ball down there in that bullpen?
The real ball he throws is weighted.
Here's the 0-1. Gregorius, nice play to his left. Good arm, 2 out. Kahnle wants the shutout. The Yankees want the shutout. Correa trying to spoil that with a double. He's at third for Bregman. Travel day tomorrow. Game 6 on Friday. Severino and Verlander. If there's a game 7, Sabathia and to be determined for Houston. Kahnle doesn't look like he's broken a sweat yet. With 2 out, Bregman by Gary Sanchez. That pitch was down and away. Shot a look down at Carlos Correa at third. So pitch number 20 for Tommy Kahnle. Bregman into center. Hicks there. Yankees win it 5-0 behind fantastic pitching. And the home team has won each of the first 5 games of this ALCS. A 3-hour, 18-minute game, and the Yankees are up 3-2.
Second 3-game winning streak for the Yankees in the postseason. They had to have it the first time. Not necessarily this time, but put themselves in a much better situation.
Masahiro Tanaka, 7 shutout innings, Kahnle with 2. And Joe Girardi's got his team 1 win away from the World Series. That's it, 5-0 New York. Kevin, guys, back to you in LA.